Hello everyone, this is your first tutorial, and what we're going to do in this tutorial is we are going to take a simple concept and apply it with our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is the UI that we'll be creating, the user interface. We'll use our flex display, um, our understanding of flex display, and we'll be building this entire object. So before we start, let's kind of identify what we actually need in order to make this work. And this is always a great exercise to go through, where you look at a concept or idea you created with some kind of graphics and sketched out, and you go ahead and think about how you can execute the whole thing. Well, first of all, this rectangle over here is just to show that it's in the center. It doesn't have to have any background color or borders on there. It's just for me to show that these items are all aligned in here. So for sure, you know that we need one container that fills up the whole screen, and then another container that is center in the screen over here. So that's two divs already. This div and this div. We know that within here, there's another object in here, another object in here, another object in here, another object in here, and another object in here that fills up this part. So object, 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 object. So in total, at the very least right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items in the body that we will have to style out. I guess we would start with trying to get something that would look like this before we do changes here and there. Before we go on about what our interaction is going to be, let's set everything up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a blank document really quickly, and we'll start from there. So if you're going to follow along, please start with a blank document on your own. Okay, and we are back with the blank documents over here. Now I'm going to show you what my file structure looks like. I have an index.html and an image folder. Feel free to not use any images, but I'm using it so that it makes everything looks much cooler at the end. So I have a background image I'm going to use later on, and item 1 and item 23. If you want to get your own images, feel free to. Take your time, pause it, and get your own images so that you have something to look by later on. So in the beginning, for sure, we have a div, and we'll call this the overall container. We'll just call this the main container. How about that? Main container. And in the main container, we're going to definitely have one. We'll call this the mid container, because in our part here we have a main container that holds everything, and a mid container that's in the middle. In the mid container, we're going to have several items. We're gonna have probably one div over here, one div over here, one div that holds 3 other divs over here. So we can start off with, first of all, we know that there's 2 rows, right? So we can have row 1 and row 2. Okay, so we are gonna ID it. Now you can say, oh, why don't we just do a class? Yeah, you could, but for now we're going to use ID, because I want to make sure that you understand that this is going to be bigger than this. So ID row 1 and div ID equals to row 2. And within this row, there's going to be 2 items on here. I don't know what they are right now. So we can just leave it blank as is at the moment. We'll call this, we'll ID everything for now, item 1. Later on, we might change, add some classes here and there. and on item 2. And these are thumbnails, so we're just gonna call, well, I guess this is the main picture and these are description. So let's make it more consistent. It's not item run. I guess this would be the main image and that would be the description. Call it DESC. And in this case, these are like kind of thumbnails. So we'll call this div id equals to thumb, or maybe class. Let's do a class equals to thumbs. And we'll have an ID equals to thumb1, thumb2, and oops, what am I doing? Thumb3. Okay, let's put this on our test run just to make sure we do have everything on the screen. So I'm going to go here. Before I go ahead and put everything on, I will inspect and make sure that everything is there. Oh, this is huge. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. I hope you can all see it. So we have a main container with a mid container with row 1, row 2, even though they have nothing on there. Main image 1, description, main image, and then thumb 1, 1, 2, thumb 3. So now we're gonna apply all our flex stuff. For in the beginning, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to style everything with background color. Later on, I'm gonna get rid of the background color. I just want to see how they look right now with the background color to get a good understanding. So the main container is gonna have a display of flex. In fact, everything here has a flex display. So in order to do that, let's get everything here with its flex display. The main container, the mid container, the mid container, row 1, and row 2. So you can separate them by commas. For sure, the main container, it will have some of its own styles. For example, it's gonna have a fixed position, just like before, fixed, just like in our lab, width of 100 view width, height of 100 view height, and a background color. For now, we'll use fad, and a left of 0 pixel, no period, and a top, semicolon, and a top of 0 pixel. Feel free to pause to catch up if you feel like you're behind. So we'll make sure that it's there. That's good. And we're going to give some color and width and height for our mid container. That's going to have all the other stuff. So our mid container is going to have a width of I'm gonna say, looking at the here, probably around maybe 70 or to 80, 70% of height, 70% of the main container, and around perhaps 60% of the main container. So 60% of the main container, and the height is gonna be at 70% of the main container. Probably around that would look decent. And I'll have a background color of that. Okay, let's double check to make sure actually, you know what, just to, so that I don't have to double check on that. Again, make sure your inspect is always on. That's always a good thing to have. Now we're gonna make sure everything is kind of centered out. So our main container is going to have a line items of center, center, and justify contents of center. And now for our row 1 and row 2, row 1 is going to take probably twice the amount of height that row 2 is going to take. So for sure, the mid container is going to have it's already a flex display, but the flex direction is not going to be right beside, like row 1 and row 2 is not going to have a direction where they are right beside each other. They're going to be on top of each other, or 1 and 2, right? Let me see if I can portray that properly. So it's going to be something like 1 and 2, something like that. And one of my row is going to be twice the size of the other one. So that means the flex direction is not going to be a row but a column. I know it's counterproductive, but that's how they do it. So that they're on top of each other. Let's make sure that they are. So row 1 is going to have a background color. Okay, I'm running out of words, so let's say add, and row 2 is going to have a different background color of I have no idea. Let's say DAA or something like that. Yeah, let's take a look. Right. Make sure everything is there, even though I can't see it, because they have 0 height right now. But I know that it's going to have a column flex direction where row 1 and row 2 is going to be kind of on top of each other. This will have a flex of 1, and this will have a flex of 2. Right? Flex of 1. Oh, the other way around. This will have a flex of 2, and this will have a flex of 1. So this part is going to be like that. And within row 1 and row 2 itself, everything's going. So this main image over here is going to have this description over here is going to be double the size of this image. So main image will have a flex of 1, while the description is going to have a flex of 2. And again, to make sure we can see it, we're going to add some background color. We're running out of words, so I'm going to use some numbers. Number 3, 4, 5, and background color of number 1, 2, 3. So let's take a look what it looks like. Kind of starting to look what I kind of want, and then finally 3 separate items, all with the same flex 1 at there. So number, or all the thumbs will have a flex of 1. Maybe you want to give it a different background color for each one. So maybe thumb 1 will have a background color of number 9dB. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. Maybe CD A, and thumb 1, thumb 2, and thumb 3 will have F87B or something like that. And so on. So by using Flexbox, we have kind of created a simple layout that kind of in its best attempt to represent what we have. Now it's, I would say we can probably make the height even more and the width even more, I should say. But it's okay for now. Everything is kind of uh, working the way it's supposed to work. Oh. So what we're going to do is we are going to kind of make it interactive in the beginning. I'm going to use images later on, but for now, I'm just going to use whatever color it has. So the idea is very simple. We're going to grab this. Let me click on it. We're going to change this color to whatever color that this has. And we're going to write some words here just to like a brief description. Click on this. I'm going to change this color to whatever this color has and some description. And same and so on. So our styles are kind of done here. We're going to leave it be. And we're going to go to our script and do exactly that. Document.query excuse me, selector thumb1 dot add event listener. And so you should remember over here is using add event listener, and click and a function like that. Now, after doing the first one, I'm going to do this in another format. You don't have to completely understand what's going on in that format. I'm just introducing to it so that when I do explain it in class at some point, you kind of remember this part, that you would kind of remember this part. So let's start with something simple over here. Now, if you grasp the concept, then that's great. But if you don't, then it's like an introduction. Basically, over here we go, okay, query selector main image dot style dot background color is equal to, and that would make this 9 dB, like so. Yeah, let's see if it works. Wait, no, I did something wrong. Let's read what's going on. Query selector dot style dot close to function, click add events listener. So you can see that even I make mistakes all the time because that's just part of it, and you just have to kind of go through it and learn it yourself. Get used to the mistakes. So in the main image, I'm just gonna transition the background colors to make it a little bit cooler. Background color by, let's say, 2 seconds. So we have a slow transition to a different background color. And also I'm going to change the text in the description. I'm going to write something like document.query selector description dot inner HTML equals to color pound 9dB. So it's right there. Can't see anything. So let's do some changing for our description over here. Let's make the color of the font white, and let's make our font size maybe, since it's kind of small, let's do 42 pixel. And then let's also have some padding, like maybe 20 pixel padding. All right. So look, we can do it for all three. So for the second one, thumb 2 is going, oh, something, I don't like my indenting, so I'm gonna unindent it and so that it looks proper. But the second one is going to be 9dB. Second one's gonna be CDA color, CDA. And then finally for the third one, it will be F7B. F7B and F7B. So let's see if it goes through. Yeah? Yeah. Yes. That's good. That's kind of what I want to have on here. So I'm gonna introduce you to also a pretty simple way of doing it. Instead of doing add event listener, you can actually inline click it, and you'll see this online as well. The reason I'm introducing to it is because you'll see, if you're searching online for examples, you will also see something like this. For example, I can go type function and then give a name called, like, let's say change thumb 1, and I take whatever this is over here and I paste it inside this function. And now I'm going to comment this first part out, and on thumb 1 I can do something like on click equals to change thumb 1, like that. That could potentially do the same thing, or not potentially, that does do the same thing. And so instead of doing the add event listener, you can do an inline interaction with like that, and then this is useful because you can do multiple neat things on here. For example, this will be explained more in the second lab. For example, you can pass information in here so that it can be replaced down here. For example, we can go, okay, let's pass, it's not called change thumb 1, let's call it change thumbs. I'm gonna pass the color over. So change thumbs. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass the color 9dB over, like so. Instead of saying 9dB, pound 9dB, it will be color. And instead of saying color, pound 9dB, you can go color plus color, because you pass that word over to this function. Now, again, you don't need to completely understand what's going on, but but there's an introduction to how we can make things more efficient. Because if you have that, then you can use the same function for all three of them. This one is CDA. And finally, The last one is, what is the last one? F7B, like so. Right? Then you don't have to write all three down. You can just have one that does all for you. And this is called passing an argument through a variable, which that's the technical term for it. Just showing you the alternative of writing all three of this down. You could write one down, and since these are all repetition of what's happening for each one, you can kind of see that we can save the repetition through something like this. We'll go over more of this in due time. All right, so the next part again is an extension. It's just to try. It's kind of to help you grasp the concept better. For example, these thumbnails doesn't have to be background colors. It could be images. It could be images that look something like this. So we'll have an image source equals to image slash item1.png inside this div over here, and we'll give these images class equals to thumb image. And we'll do a style for thumb image so that the image doesn't go over the border itself. Thumb image is always going to have a height of 100% and auto width. Right, so that's my image over there. And also all the thumbs is going to have a text align of center. So that my image, well, okay, that's not what I want actually. Let's not do that. Whoa, wait a minute. What happened to my image itself? Whoa. Okay. Oh, it just went haywire. Whoops. No, oh, no. Okay. No. Yes. No. Now, this is a bug I've never seen in my life. That's interesting to say the least. Oh, you know what? Let's not do auto. Let's do 100% width as well, just for now. Yeah, but that looks really bad. You know what? Screw it. Let's not use an image. Let's use a background image. It makes more sense to me. So screw this. There are some bugs with the flexing over there. So we're gonna screw that. And we're just gonna do background images for thumb one. Background image. URL image slash item one. And we're going to do some background background, I think, size. And we're going to do a contain over there. And make sure it never repeats. Ooh. Repeat, background repeat, no repeats. Actually, that's for all the thumbs. Changing my mind left and right. But that's for all the thumbs. So we'll put it up here instead. And at the same time, we'll have a background position center, so that the image is kind of centered in the background. We'll do it for all three of them. From item 2 and item 3. Right. Okay, so that's the idea. And I guess I don't really need the colors anymore, but I guess I'll keep it there just in case. So when I click on them, I want this to change to the image. So what you can do if you're still using the old method, you can change individual ones. Or in this case, what I'm going to do is instead of changing the background color, I'm going to be changing the background image. Background image is equal to, and this is it's kind of complicated in its own way, and it'll be explained to you later on, but it'll be the URL. You know what? Let's do it normal way first so that you can get a good grasp of what's going on. Let's forget that changed thumbs is here. So we're gonna ignore changed thumbs. Let's do it the normal way first, right here. So instead of background color, or aside from background, we're also gonna change background image to URL image slash item1.png. And we'll do the same for all three. Well, let's check if the first one works. Let's see if our background image was changed to image item1. Did I write it wrong? Image slash item1.png. Background image. Okay. Wait a sec. Let's debug this part on our own. Did I write it wrong or something happened? No, it's there. It should be there at least. Where are you? Oh, yeah. The reason why is because our main image also doesn't have background position center and background size. Let's do contain as well. And background repeat. No repeat. Okay, let's see it. There we go. Much better. And the same with the other ones now. Now it's kind of, I feel that it's not big enough, so later on I'm going to change the flex number a bit so that it looks a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. Because it's taking contain takes up the entire image and cuts off whatever is not there. In this case, it has to contain within the width itself. I'm gonna change that. That width looks ugly as crap. So we are gonna change that and make the flex for description 3, but the main image 2, so that it's bigger. There we go. Maybe even more. Maybe 3 and 4. There. Much better than before. And what I'm gonna do, aside from changing background color and whatnot, is I am going to no, let's not get too crazy here. I don't want to introduce too many things. I'm gonna show you how this would look like if we use this method over here. So what I'll do is I will comment this out and uncomment these two. But aside from color, I'm gonna add in one more thing, which is image. like so. And I'm going to add in one more thing over here, which is background image equals to image. You can name it anything. It doesn't have to be called color. You can name it Bob if you want. Doesn't matter as long as you correspond over here. But aside from that, we're also going to add in URL image slash item1.png. Separate it. So separate by comma. Oh, let's actually see if that works before we go on. Yeah. Item2 and oh, what a bad copy paste right there. Item3. So I pass in two different information into this one item. So instead of doing 3 times in a row like you see here, I just do it one time and pass in the information like so. Let's see. All right. That's pretty much kind of what I was envisioning. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of some stuff over here, like the background colors, although they look kind of nice and neat, because I think I like it better with an actual background image. So my main container is gonna have a background image as well, and it's going to be image slash bg.png. Again, it's going to use a position of center. Oh, where is the center? I don't like my spaces, as you can see. Background size of this time it's gonna be cover. I don't want any black spots, and yeah, I think that's it. Let's check it out for now. It looks horrendous. Well, not really. I guess in a way you can say. What? What happened to the other part of my background image? Oh well, not much you can do. Maybe not Maybe not center. Maybe center and bottom, so that at the very least, no, center and top maybe. At the very least, we have something up there. And no, don't like these colors over there, although they look pretty fine and dandy. I mean, that's up to you. It's debatable. I mean, technically, to me, it looks better with no background color. That's debatable. That's up to you. So, in my main image, I could potentially say I don't like the background color, and since they're transparent images, whoa, hey man, no background color for my row 1 as well, please. Or my mid container as well. Since they're transparent images, technically, I feel like they look better when they're a transparent image. My opinion on it, you don't have to agree or disagree on this. And at the same time, maybe I also don't like the background color for my thumbnails, so potentially I can delete all of them, and I feel like that looks a lot better. In my opinion, it looks a lot better. These you can play around. You can actually stop the tutorial if you want. I just want to make some look and feel things going on over here, so that it has a look that I like and whatnot. I don't know about this over here. I feel like it should be opacity as well. I don't know. Honestly. You know what? $32. 100. Oh, no. RGBA 0.7 alpha. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I still don't like it. Margin bottom 10 pixel. I don't know. I'm running out. Well, you know, I guess this is where test and trial comes into place, and you kind of want to trial and error until you get something that you of your liking. I'm pretty. I feel it could still be improved a lot, but I guess better than nothing at the moment. Yeah. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys can play around with this. Make sure you submit it into the tutorial Dropbox for your lab, and or yeah, for your lab, so that I can mark it later on.